And then who else we got? We got the predator. The predator is a very dangerous man. He's a better psychologist than Dr. Umar. And he can have the degrees. He can walk into a room like this.
You're now hearing, guys, an insert from Dr. Umar in Houston. This is the lecture that he presented over a week ago.
It's going to start off real good. He's going to be taking you out and whining and dining you. And then all of a sudden, he's going to start trying to separate you from your support base. Why you got to go to church with your mother every Sunday? Why you got to hang out with your girlfriends every Friday? Why you got to volunteer at the club every Wednesday with the little kids? We have a man now. You should be home with me. And then he starts verbally criticizing.
Got the keys?
I don't like you gaining too much weight, or you losing too much weight, or you don't cook good no more. He starts working on his self-esteem. And then he starts verbally threatening. And ladies, I'm saying this because I know this as a therapist. If a man hits you once, he's going to hit you again. Because the impulse, the woman is an unconditional response, which means the bad behavior was probably already exemplified by a mother's boyfriend or dad's son. That's the moment of reality. Two women say, I'm not going to tell you to leave a relationship, but I am going to tell you to leave a home. Tell him, if you still want this, you can go to a therapist. He's going to tell you, I don't know him. And you're going to say, I'm going to call Dr. Umar and get one right now. Your ass is crazy. And Dr. Umar told me until I tell you that he should go have Dr. Umar Johnson brought to you. Ladies, it's okay to love him. But make it get the help he needs if you would save your life. Condition for this relationship to continue is you're going to get therapy, and while you're getting that therapy, we cannot live under the same roof because my daughter cannot see me getting beat by a man. Because girls who see their mothers get beat are more likely to accept it.
Nope.
And boys who see their fathers beat women are more likely to do it. That predator is a dangerous man because he will wear you down, and the next thing you know, you think you need him to survive. Ladies, beware of the predator. Brothers, keep your hands off these women. And one day you will have us a ski-ass club, so all the sister got to do is make one phone call. If you Black Panther Party will be at that door, shotgun ready. I heard you put your hand on one of my sisters. Put your ass out there. You gotta get there, family. We're the only community who does not reward good behavior or punish bad behavior. In the Italian community, the mafia rewards and punishes. Every community has a system of reward and punishment except Black people, and there's no way we will get to where we need to be if we don't start rewarding and punishing. So that's the parent, that's the player, that's the predator, that's the couch potato, and then you have to protect. This is the man who goes around making women mad, got everything going for himself, but he really has nothing to have. Last week, he was A&R for Puff Daddy. This week, he's Beyonce's road manager. Next week, he owns 10 McDonald's. It's a low self-esteem brother who attracts women by making them think he has more to offer than what he does. But I blame the women for that. Because if he was after materialism and money, he could never got you in the first place. Yeah, if I'm going to talk about the 5 types of dysfunctional women, I need to talk about the 5 types of dysfunctional men. And I'm talking about the 5 types of dysfunctional women. That's right. Y'all ready for this? Now, before I say anything further, I want you to look around the room and look at the women who can't sit still. Look at the women who shake. Look. She's shaking, look. She's shaking. Look at look. Why y'all can't sit still?
Welcome, guys. I'm back. Sorry for the delay right there. Had some issues with my live stream there. Can you all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. So that was a small excerpt with Dr. Umar speaking at the lecture. I just wanted to kind of start that off. He was talking about um relationships, and that's something that I'm going to focus a little bit more on as we as I continue to shift my platform to focusing on other issues and so on. Appreciate everybody for coming in. Give a shout out to T Pre. What's up, Nick Ray? Appreciate y'all for coming in bright and early. Right now, I know there's a lot going on with the post debate review. What I want to do, guys, is focus on some of the things that were said in the post in the debate itself between Stargate and Conscious Energy. I know most people are kind of saying that was a horrible fucking debate. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was not a good debate. Okay. Um, it was a funny ass debate, but it wasn't as horrible as people are saying it is. I don't think it was that bad. It wasn't great. It wasn't that bad. I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. Certain people are just not gonna make for good debate, and we just have to put up with it as it is. So, I mean, that's just how I feel about it. I mean, I watched the debate from start to finish. I heard their closing argument, their opening arguments, their rebuttals, and then they ended the debate in the closing, and it was what it was. Now, there's some things that I want to talk about because I think that these are topics, things that I took from the debate, are things that I want to discuss. There are certain things that I am going to focus on as I continue to talk about different things. Um, as I talk about different things on my platform, and that is what constitutes submission. Okay, and what constitutes submission? How is a black man supposed to provide leadership? What are those expectations of leadership? But mainly, how we're supposed to function in relationships with each other. And I'm noticing, guys, Stargate sounded like the Black Womansphere sector. Stargate's talking points are talking points that resonate throughout the black community in regards to black females. What's up, Dr. Bombay? Hey, Dr. Bombay, it's time to have some grown folks conversation. I know you was over there by Slander God. I appreciate what the brother is doing, but now it's time to have some grown folk conversation. Um, I want us to focus on the fact that the talking points that Stargate stated are are perspectives that a lot of black women have. I said a lot. I didn't say most. I didn't say the majority. That's right, T Pre, is grown folks' time. What I'm stating is that, and I'm gonna say this, and this is no slap on black women. That this is not disparaging the black women. This is just a fact. You notice, guys. I want to say this. You notice that on YouTube, in the black sectors and in this sector, do you notice that it's usually single black women are the loudest in talking about feminism and equality and all of these things, and I'm not submitting. I don't hear married men, married women as a whole saying these things. I don't care how old you are. I am not hearing married women on you. You know why these married women are not talking? Because these married men are taking care of their men, and most of them don't have time to be on YouTube entertaining other people. You do not hear married women screaming. You don't hear married women screaming feminism. You don't hear it. You hear single women here screaming feminism. These are facts. You don't hear married women complaining about black men like this. You know why? Because they found their beau. Now, I come to find out more and more as I'm hearing Stargate. Let's shout out to Stargate. In the last month and a half or 2 months, that Stargate has some very controversial views. And these views are very similar to women that I interact with in other sectors. And I have debated with these women on why they have these views, because these views themselves does not translate to positive outcomes for black women. They don't. What has feminism done for black women that white women allowed, or white women taking advantage of first, or control? Feminism is not your movement. Feminism is a white woman's fight. I am for the betterment of black women exclusively. I am not going to support a movement that white women dictate what women should get, and they're negotiating with their own men. You see the con game here? When these laws or these feminist quote unquote policies are being erected, black woman, you are not the object of importance. Now you may benefit from the remnants of what white women can get, but you're not the true beneficiary. And if you look at the laws, white women are the primary beneficiaries. You're allowing yourself to be used. You're allowing and you're participating in a mindset that is not beneficial for black men. And for the women who are listening, and I appreciate the people who are in here now, let's get the lights up. What we have to understand is that what's good for the black man is also good for the black woman. And what is good for the black woman is also good for the black man. If you view things as if you exclusively benefit and I don't, then we both don't benefit. You see, that's the trick of white supremacy. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. That's the trick of white supremacy. We have allowed other people to come in our household and tell us how we should operate as a family, as a couple. We have allowed outside people who have never had our best interests to think that if we join them to give them what they want, then we'll get what we want. When has that ever happened? When has it ever happened that we help white people do something and we benefited? Feminists are still upset that black men were able to vote before they were. Now, black men's ability to vote before white women was not something that black men created. That's something that white men allowed. So are black women going to get upset at black men that white men wrote into law that black men's ability to vote? Is that what we're doing in 2021? That we're going to start getting upset at black men for being allowed to do things or being disallowed to do certain things because of a social, political, and economic policy that we didn't create? And then you had the lady that came on that debated conscious energy, laying out the failures of black men as if the failures of black men were basically brought about by our just natural failure to be successful. Is that what we're doing in 2021? Now, let's be honest. The information that she spoke of was information that she repeated from literature that she read and heard other people say. Nothing was original about her language at all. I wish I would have been there because I would have questioned her on the things that she stated. I forgot her name, but she was very, very adamant and talking about the failures of black men and our lack of building, black men's lack, and black women are having opening up more businesses, and black women are doing this and black women are doing that. And I'm sitting here like, ma'am, those are superficial statistics. If black men are not doing good, the race doesn't do good. That's just a fact. If black women are outpacing black men, what that's telling us is that black women are not going to be able to compete against white men. The reason why they have created policies for black male failure is because they understand that black male success competes with white male success. Black female success is no threat to white men or any other race of men. So why are we holding black men responsible for an environment of failure that they did not create? Now, this whole thing about excuses, black men, we don't want to hear about the white man being the excuse. Now, that's an uneducated and to me an asinine response to 400 plus years of racism. Institutional racism has been embedded in our culture as black people and in this society since we came on the shores of North America. So now we're going to begin to just ignore the fact that that has happened and the people who have allowed that to happen. Are you serious? We having grown folks talk tonight, not the fuckery. That's kind of my mantra from now on. We gonna have some grown folks talk. Come with facts, come with knowledge, come with understanding. It's not about all the theatrics. I'm past that. You see, this is the thing that frustrates me the most about Black YouTube in this sector, that we allow people to emotionally express themselves and speak their minds. And in some of those instances, a lot of the information that they give is misguided. Misguided. Misguided information. She created a narrative. The lady that spoke to conscious energy towards the end, I forgot her name. She came on there saying, I want to debate conscious energy on the concepts of feminism. Let's just be honest. Most black women are not feminists. Most black women could not clearly articulate the tenets of feminism, because the tenets of feminism were not created for you, black woman. The tenets of feminism was created for white women. They only came to you What's up, Slender God? What's up? What's up? What's up, Ghost? I see everybody coming in. Great show tonight, Slender God. But I want to deal with the concepts because I cringe when I hear black women claiming this feminist bullshit. Now, am I for black women empowerment? Yes, but I'm not for feminism. Because the concept of black women or women, period, thinking that they're equal to men is illogical. It's illogical. The concept of you thinking, black woman, listening to white women, that you're supposed to get this and that equally as a man is not going to happen. But what it does is creates an environment where black women think that they don't have to cooperate with black men because they no longer need them financially as they did in earlier generations. And what you're going to do is create an environment where men don't want to compete or feel like they're competing with their women. No, it doesn't. The white man, black women outperform black men in most areas. So feminism has obviously worked out for black women. No, it hasn't. And I'm going to tell you why it hasn't, the white man. The reason why is it hasn't because, number one, there's certain aspects of feminism that basically reinforces government dependency. Okay, which is if you're getting government dependency, you're not outperforming anybody. You're actually failing. The other thing, guys, the other aspects of feminism is that you are basically blaming black men for problems that they did not create. Let me repeat. You're blaming black men, black woman, for problems he did not create. And then you are also blaming black men for the reasons why they were unable to solve problems that you think he should solve. Okay? Let's understand what feminism is, because we don't, as a community, we're basically looking at things from another culture who's telling you what you should do in feminism in your household. You see, it was a time that these people didn't care what we did in our household, but they only care when they can create situations in which they can obtain power, and they use you in numbers to allocate that power. And that's why in the 50s and 60s there were black women who began to go into the feminist movement. They were used, and they never start the gangs that feminism produced. Facts. And I challenge anybody to come up and have an intellectual debate with me on this, because I know what I'm talking about. If feminism works, if feminism really worked, why are black women so unhappy? Can you explain that, the white man? And shout out to Stargate. Appreciate you for coming in, sis. If feminism works, why are you unhappy? So you're telling me that you benefited from all of these privileges and all these things that happen, you're outperforming, but you're still unhappy. You are still unhappy. Because what you fail to understand, for those who believe in the feminist agenda, is that feminist agenda simultaneously weakens your man. It weakens your black man. I, as a therapist, am tired of seeing depressed, unhinged, angry, emotionally unstable, overworked, disappointed, and drained black women. Because that's what black women are. These are the symptoms that they present, and they're upset that the fact that they have to work as hard as they have to. And you know what? The women who don't choose feminism, they don't work as hard, and they reap way more benefits. You can outperform me or outperform every black man all you want. Your condition is not going to change, because your condition, even your success, is not a threat. And this is what black women fail to understand. And to me, the most hypocritical thing is for the black feminist who claims that she wants a man to fit and do all of these successful things. Particularly, what they're really saying is that, can these black men outperform us? And if they can outperform us, then you deserve my submission. But then you create out of wedlock children, and then you raise black males to be the very failure that you despise. Because, by way, but because everybody knows you're a strong black woman. But D. Durrell says, I don't want a strong black woman. D. Durrell wants a smart black woman. D. Durrell would prefer an intelligent black woman, not a strong. Because your strength doesn't change anything. Your strengths as a woman does not cannot compete against a strong white man. My strength can, and he knows that. That's why he creates policies and things to minimize my ability to do so. It's a reason why the school district of Baltimore, 41% of the kids have a 1.0 or less. It's a reason for that. Shout out to BMT. It's a reason for that. And you know who that was geared towards? The black boys in that school district reading on a fucking fourth grade level. So how the hell you gonna get mad at men, these boys that are reading on a fourth fucking grade level, and your girls are graduating out of college, but then nobody wants to say the system is messed up in a way it is filtering black boys to be failures, but you blaming the young boy now that he's 21 years old, can only read on a fourth grade level, has no job skills. All he's done is sold dope all his life, and all of a sudden now you should be such a great person. You need to be a responsible father. You need to be a responsible husband. How? See, I was going to come up on the panel and debate this because, see, this is why I'm the godfather, because I look at things in all layers and all aspects. See, this is a teachable moment to us as black people who think that we need other people to do things that we can do for ourselves. And to every black woman, and I'm speaking to the whole black woman sphere, the manosphere, this sector, these single black women, you should not even speak on this topic in my own personal feeling. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I say you should. I'm going to say you should not be. I'm not saying you can't, but you should not. So what we're going to do, which seems to have been consistent with black YouTube, is that we allow people who are not successful in the family or marriage institution to speak and tell other black women to do things and to operate in ways that don't reach a positive outcome. This is the truth. Now the white man is saying some stuff, and I'm going to approach what he's saying because it's all buffoonery. But I'm going to allow him to say he's saying, D. Durrell, I'd say a lot of people aren't happy. Women are just more honest about their mental health. You can easily look online and see the rise in hateful, unfulfilled males. The white man, I'm an expert in this. So unless you think you can out expert me on information that what you just said is not consistent, I would encourage you to take out a piece of paper and pen, take some notes and learn. That's my response to that. Black men and black women are both unhappy. That has nothing to do with it. Now, Moon Litwit, I don't get this. I don't know. I don't. I think this is a very immature statement to say. As long as black women thrive, black men thrive, because most black women like to care for black men out of pity. Not me though. See, that's an immature statement, Moonlit Wit. I mean, I don't think black women as a whole take care of black men out of pity. Black women take care of black men out of pity because they were never trained how to have an effective relationship with a black man so that those things don't happen in the first place. And if you choose to do so, kudos to you. It's just another thing. Black men are committed phobic, bro. Let's not cap tonight. It's very normal in our community for men not to be part of their kids' lives. First of all, it is not normal in any civilization or any culture for men. Just because it is occurring at a high level does not mean that it's normal. White man, I'm gonna have to go ahead and time you out. I think you are the one capping right now. Now, I'm going to say this. Let's talk about submission because Stargate adamantly talked about the lack of black women having to submit and what are the conditions in which white black women have to give submission and whether or not that submission should be something that she easily gives away or that submission should be a at default. Okay, let's touch on that. I'm going to say this. If you look at no. Let me rephrase that. And I'm going to send out the panel. Let's talk about submission. Now, for every woman that's in here, including Stargate, I want you all to let me know, and I want to hear nothing but from the women. Please tell me, why is submission deemed an ugly word in our culture? I want you to tell me, why is it that when we talk about submission, there is an initial resistance towards it? Can you explain that to me? And I'm looking forward to hearing your responses. Because what I am deciphering from this is that black women feel that black men are not at a level at a whole that warrants their submission. And my response to that is that's a goddamn lie. There are plenty of black men who deserve the submission of black women. And I'm going to say that what constitutes submission at default, because no black woman should be given full submission to any man unless you are engaged and getting ready to get married. But in that process, you should have a submissive mindset. And what I mean by a submissive mindset is the understanding that you are not here to compete with me. You are not here to be conflictual. You are not here to think that we are that I have to challenge you on every goddamn thing that you say. You are not in a position where you think that we are partners, equal partners, not in the context of we're building as a couple, but in the context of your position as the leader is no different from me. We're both the leaders in the relationship. So Miss T Pre says, I don't think submission is wrong at all in the proper setting. Exactly. Submission is something that only a husband deserves. Submission is something that, number one, should be discussed between the partners. Submission in our community has been deemed a situation that is exploitive, in which a man is being exploitive and subjecting. Notice Stargate used the word, and that other lady that debated against conscious energy later on in regards to conditions that were like slavery. She even said for herself, and she was an anti Umar person, of course, because when she spoke of Umar, she spoke of all the negativity. She spoke of him allegedly taking all the money but not showing any receipts. She basically exposed herself to not being objective. So at that point, I gave no credence to anything that she stated because she was coming from a mindset and the fact that I'm going to hate on Umar Johnson while I'm on this panel, and I'm going to hate on the things that he state, and I'm going to hate on things in regards to black men. In her expression, she did not, or she failed to say, she was unable to say anything positive about black men. She mentioned all the negatives. And the bad thing about it is that that same woman that came in there and embarrassed herself probably has black brothers, a black father, and maybe has black sons. So these black women who do this don't understand the negative effect of your position on the very black men that you're creating that you don't like. You're doing your sisters and the younger generations of black women, no justice. You're working against yourself. Black women and black men together as a whole have to cultivate a better black son that would develop into a better black man. We are not doing that as a community. And the bottom line is that these strong black women, you're not being smart black women. And these strong black women, your strength is being deemed as infectious to your sons, where he doesn't want to marry or date someone like you. He doesn't. Your strength is actually what you deem as a strength is actually weakness because black women, you're stressed, you're overworked, you're trying to be a superwoman. You're saying things like, I'm going to be the man and the woman. No, you can't. That's illogical. You could never be a man if you're a woman. You see, these are the type of things, the fallacies that we create in our mind that poisons our community. And we're producing these weak ass men and males that you all complain about when you're of age. And then when that strong black man who's stronger than you comes into your life, you don't know how to treat them. You don't know how to communicate with them because you know why you don't? Because you're looking for failure. You're looking for flaws. You're looking for all negative attributes that you think he has, and you create a self-defeating scenario in which you just ran off a good black man in your life. I'm not going to Mike Powell, I'm not going to get into semantics to you. All males are not men to derail. Okay, so what you going to say? All females are not women? Is that what we're going to get into, Mike? Please, brother, come with some intelligence with me. I'm not about the unintellectualism. Please, quit trying to say little phrases to make yourself sound smart. Do yourself a favor. Come with me with some intelligence, and you'll get a better response. Okay, so we're not going to get into this. We're not going to get into thinking that submissiveness means a black man just willfully telling black women what the hell they should and should not be doing and treating them any kind of way. That is not the conditions of the submission. That is not what a woman being submissive to the will of a man that is not leading her in the right manner. It's not submission. That's foolishness. Now I'm going to send the link for those that want to come up and have a grown folks conversation. Let's have a grown folks conversation. I'm tired of hearing black women talk about why I should not submit to anybody. But you want a high value man. You want a man 6'5", 200 pounds, chiseled. You want all of these things that a man should be doing, but you don't want to be submissive to him. You don't want him to be the leader. You don't want to engage in a relationship that has been the most effective dynamic since the beginning of time. So you're fighting against history. But at the same time, all of you women who claim you don't want to be submissive, and all of you women who claim you don't want to do this and I can do this by myself, as that lady, I forgot her name, as she eloquently put, I don't need a man financially. That is stupid. She actually thought that was intelligent to say you don't need a man financially, so you're not trying to build. See, that to me is the mindset of someone that does not understand the economics of marriage and family. Because if you think that you can build more wealth with your one income as opposed to having two incomes, you don't understand why black people are in the position we are. The reason why we're in the position we are now is because we have 70% of households where they're ran by women with one income making under $40,000 a year. And their net value of wealth is five fucking dollars. That's the facts. That's the facts. That is not a recipe for success. Their household, those single parent households have a net income wealth of $5, while you look at over 50 to 60% of white and other ethnic groups that are in that's basically 60, 70, and $80,000 net
You're breaking up.
wealth. That's the facts.
You're breaking up, Darrell.
Can you hear me?
You kind of staticky. Bombay, do you hear static?
For a second. I can hear him now, though.
Can you hear
Okay.
me now? Okay. So those are the things that I would like to talk about. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Dr. Bombay. I'm gonna go with Stargate, and then we on lock. Go ahead. Let's go ahead, dump Bombay.
Okay. First of all, a lot of what you said, I completely agree with, especially with the whole submission, but in the right atmosphere. My opinion is that right now we're in a broken state as far as the black family is concerned. I wholeheartedly agree with the part about the feminist movement not being the black woman's movement. I think, though, a lot of black women have suffered pain, and by the way, a lot of black men have also suffered pain. And the joining with the feminist movement ideas and values with the black woman is out of a sense of a sort of a rebellion, to what they're suffering, and like I said, but we've all suffered, Now adding that in with this generation of ours, we kind of gotten things wrong. Like what you said, when you have submission you said it would be inside of a marriage. All right. So of course our parents and grandparents, out of high school, the destination was marriage.
Exactly.
Our generation, I don't know what the hell happened. It was like, graduate and I'm going to do what I want with my life. So in all fairness, you had these young people, and by the way, the grandmamas and dad and mom, they were groomed, trained. Your mom taught you how to cook, clean, run a house, balance the house budget, and all of that. And as a man, your dad taught you to be a man is this, to be a man is that, I'm pretty sure you heard in your life with your father growing up, every time you did something that was unmanly, he reminded you that that was not manly, and he told you to tighten it up and what being a man is, or be a man. You hear they put that in us a lot. So we kind of knew. So what happens is we end up with the male and the female off track. Women want to do what they want to do. Men want to do what they want to do. Fast forward 20 years later after graduation. Now you're a woman. You had several partners, three baby daddies, 4 kids. Now you're angry. Now you're upset. As a man, you now have 5 and 6 court cases for child support. And by the way, I'm not generalizing all black men, where I'm just saying a lot of this goes on. And now you're bitter, you're angry, and your answer to that is, well, I'm going to be the biggest pimp in the universe. And to the black woman, her answer is either A, I'm turning to the opposite sex, I'm turning to another race, I'm turning to some feminists, I'm turning into something. So now everybody's angry, everybody's mad. They made a lot of mistakes. And then here we are having debates and discussions about it. So that was just like my 2 cents on that. And I just wanted to say, we just got to get back to making these repairs. And we, as Darrell said, we can't fail the next generation. We can't take our failures, bitterness, anger, and pain and translate that into them, which is what I've seen our generation do a lot.
Well said. I agree with that. I just think that at this point, we have allowed other people to tell us what we should be doing in our relationships. We've had other people tell us what women should and should not be doing, and they're actually not, and things that they're not even good at doing. We had women telling black women how they should function in relationships when their relationships in itself is more toxic. We have black men who also think that they have to follow what other cultures do to constitute being a man. And I think that we're focusing so much on our failures being specifically geared towards us naturally failing. We're not looking at the context and the environment that was created for us to fail, which we did not produce. We didn't produce the environment for black men to fail. White men did. And that's not blaming. That's just fact. If what history has shown us, just as it did for the first 10 years after slavery ended in Reconstruction, when black men are left alone, they build. When black men, we succeeded after slavery for the first, and then after they saw the quick improvements, being part of Congress, Senate, we constantly inventing things, building all the wealth that we were building. Then they started inventing those Jim Crow laws. Okay? Then every time we attempted to build enclaves of wealth in Durham, Rosewood, Black Wall Street, and other places like that, those were black men building this stuff, and it got destroyed. You see, we're looking at why black men don't build, why we don't have this. It's because it's for generations when we attempted to do those things, they were destroyed. So every generation is starting from scratch. Other races of people don't have that history. So when we're looking around wondering why black men are not controlling industries, the reason why black men are not controlling industries and not building wealth is because generation and generation, when they attempted to do so, it was destroyed. So we can't sit here and blame the failures of black men on why black women should not be submissive based on things, number one, we didn't have any control over, but the fact that there were things done systematically to us to minimize our success. I mean, that's just the fact. I mean, and so now we're going to get into this thing that, okay, are we at this point where we're scared to fight white supremacy? So now we're going to fight each other, because that's the position I'm starting to look at. Because okay, I cannot defeat or challenge or beat white people. So now I'm just going to start fighting my opposite, my better half, the other six. I'm going to blame you for my failures, and you're going to blame me for your failures. You know, that is that where we're getting to now? And to me, even in doing that, what is the outcome? Stargate, tell me what is the outcome of that? I'm listening.
Okay.
What's up, Stargate?
What's up, Darrell?
How you
So,
doing?
and hello, Darrell, and Bombay, and we
How are
unlocked.
you?
Everything. I'm doing great.
Great.
Well, what I first want to acknowledge is that I did give honor to the men and women who choose to be in relationships where the man is leading and the woman is appreciating it because he's doing it properly. So I did. So it's not to down submission. It's like T Pre said, if in the proper environment, there's nothing wrong with it. But I've always found myself in a situation where any dude, I guess, who I was in a relationship with, ended up not being I could not submit to him because I actually was, if not as smarter in a lot of ways, and had better leadership skills, but was willing to be equal. I was, because I knew trying to be the head of the household would decimate his ego. So at least give me an equal position. So I'm not here to
But
say
but
that
but that but
submission
that
is
doesn't but that doesn't what is the outcome, Stargate?
but this is the thing,
No, no,
Darrell,
no, no,
is the
no, 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 no,
outcome.
no, 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 Stargate. What was the outcome?
Yeah, so like
No,
I
no,
had
no,
to
no, 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 Stargate.
I'm
Tell
telling you
me
what happened. I
no
had to leave.
exactly. So
I
so
had,
so so as exactly. That's so I want to get to it because I want you to hear what you need to hear. And
mm-hmm.
what you have to hear from yourself is that it didn't work. The approach was wrong.
It's not that my approach was wrong. It was that
What
there are.
Stargate? What was the outcome?
But Darrell, you can't sit
No,
up
no,
here.
see,
No, no,
no,
no.
no,
Okay,
no,
no,
Stargate. You
no,
have to look at
Darrell.
the
Let me
outcome.
ask you. No, because let me give you two
Yes, you do have to
examples.
look. No, no,
I
Stargate.
gave
You
you just because it. Listen, but what
okay?
about the women who did submit and it didn't work out for them? And I
Okay,
gave Mary
okay.
J. Blige.
And I can answer that question. Okay, I can look at it from both points of views. I deal with it all the time. Just because you submit to a man does not mean that 100% chance that this relationship is going to work because there's
Right.
more than just the dynamic of submission that will produce a successful outcome. So we cannot we because see my thing is we're looking at how we should function, but there's more aspects to the relationship such as communication, such as how you care about them, how you love, how you obtain certain roles, how you work together, how you want to raise children, your value system. Submissiveness in leadership is only one aspect. And I think that what I don't like when we have these conversations is that we focus so much on these particular, just a set few amount of conditions that we don't look at the totality of what constitutes an effective long-term marital relationship. Now,
That
notice,
benefits men, but not necessarily the
no,
women.
no, it benefits women and it benefits men and women.
It benefits some women, not all women.
No, it benefits all women and all men if done
No.
correctly. Yes, because the problem is this. Okay, because see, Stargate, what we got to understand is that, and this is something that I've talked about, is that no woman should be entering a dating or long-term dating relationship fully submitting to any man because that's not your husband. And see, my thing is that one of the biggest things I talked about is that I see a lot of times is that people develop bad habits in relationships from dating. That you're picking up a lot of bad habits dating wise, and when the right person comes along, you don't know how to treat them because you have in many instances conceptualized all the failures of the previous relationships that you apply that to the relationship to the guy that is deserving of your best presentation.
Okay. Can
And
it,
so
well,
we and so my thing is that the person that's deserving of that should get your best presentation, not you holding the previous 4 or 5 relationships of what men did and didn't do for you as a reason why you should have a high level of skepticism towards whether or not he is going to do those things or not.
but
Because
if the
what you're going
men, but if the men are failing to be a leader, why should women submit to that?
to
Even if she's
but see,
allowing him the time to
no,
acclimate
no,
to the position,
there's
which
no
I did.
time. That's the flaw, Stargate. A man who is a leader is going to show you leadership from the beginning. A leader is
Oh.
going to be a leader. If you're with a man and you dating him and you don't know he's a leader or not, you shouldn't be dating him. And
Why
this is the
didn't
thing.
it work for Princess Diana and Mary J. Blige?
That's okay, and I'm glad you brought that up because this is another mistake that we tend to do.
Oh.
We tend to personalize anecdotal experiences of people who live toxic lives. That just
How
because they're
did
famous,
Mary J. Blige live a toxic life? And how did Princess
Mary J.
Diana live
Blige
a
was on
toxic
drugs. She was on drugs for 20 years. What do you mean?
So
Do you know Mary J. Blige was a drug addict? You didn't know that?
was she on drugs with Kendu?
She Mary J. Blige habitually used drugs throughout her career, and
I
she
know
just
she was her and KC was yes, but what about Kendu? Was
even
she on
after
drugs
that,
with Kendu?
she was on drugs.
Oh, with Kendu? Okay, what
She
about Princess Diana? The most submissive woman in the world, right? On the
No, she was
world
not.
question.
No, she was not the most submissive woman in the world.
She
Matter
was
of
a
fact,
virgin when she married him.
what does that mean?
She was
I'm
she
saying,
listened
and
to
this is
everything that they asked
Stargate.
her to
This
do.
let me
Why
ask
did
you
she
this.
have to why did she leave a prince who was going to inherit the kingdom?
What does
why
that have to do with anything?
why couldn't she submit to a dude like that?
You want me to explain why?
Please explain.
First of all, your virginity doesn't make you a good wife.
Oh my god. So
No, it
now
doesn't.
what
Your
are you
virginity.
promoting that it's
Hold on,
okay
wait,
for women to
Stargate. Let
sleep
me answer.
around now?
Stargate. Let me answer the question. Stargate. Your virginity has nothing to do with you being a
Wow.
good wife.
Well, Darrell,
Just because
don't the men always
wait a
say
minute. No,
the men
no.
don't the men say have a low body count, it makes you wife material?
Men, okay, let me say this. That's what men say. Every man has a certain number that's different as far as what they consider a high body count, a low body count. That's a case by case situation. Now, of course, most men would prefer a woman have a low body count. I don't know any men that I know that wanted their wife to be a virgin. Now that's a generational, maybe 2, 3 generations before they wanted that chastity, but that is not important for for baby boomers on down to Gen Xers. That is not important. I don't know any man that visualized themselves thinking that they were going to actually have sex with a virgin on their wedding night for the first time. I don't know any man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know any man my age in his 40s that waited 2 or 3 years to have sex with any woman. So that in itself is an unrealistic expectation. Number two, Diane was not Princess Charles' first choice. The woman that he really wanted to marry was the woman he was end up cheating with her with, and that
Mm-hmm.
was a political marriage. That was not a marriage of love. That was not a marriage of
Oh,
people.
Darrell, I got you here, bro, because you
No, it
always
wasn't.
have
It
it.
was
No, hold
not.
on. No. I'm with you on that because Darrell, don't you always say, didn't you and Kels have a conversation about how the poor marry for love and that the rich actually marry for like business, like marrying smart or whatever is for the rich or rich minded?
What I stated was that she said, and what I took from it was that people of wealth have a tendency to marry for other things outside of love, and people who are
But
lower
you just said
income.
romanticizing love for marriage is the wrong thing. But now you
No,
actually
no,
going against that right now with
no.
that
That's
statement.
no Stargate. That's not what I'm doing.
Yes, you are, Darrell. Darrell, you just
No,
said not too
no,
long ago
no. I
that
did not
people
Stargate.
romanticize marriage
No,
and it's a Western. I'm sorry, not Western. It's a European concept, and they basically, we don't need to follow that premise because we need to marry for smarter, marry for smart, but
I
not for
never
love.
Stargate. I never said that love should not be the primary reason to get married. What I'm
You
saying is that there
did
are
say
other.
that on
No,
binary.
I
You
did
and
not.
Kels
No,
was having a
no,
conversation.
Stargate. That's what you heard. That's what you wanted to hear. What I'm
No,
saying,
man, y'all was talking about
Stargate.
how
Hold on, let me
marrying for
finish.
love is
Hold on.
is for poor people and poor-minded
No,
people.
no. She
Yes, y'all
said that.
did.
I agreed that most poor economic people look at love as being the most important thing to
Mm-hmm.
marry for. I didn't say it was the
Now
only
you
thing.
contradicting yourself with
No,
saying
I'm
that he.
not.
Yes,
That is
you
not.
are.
No, you're
All right,
hearing
I
what
guess
you
we're gonna
want to
agree to
hear.
disagree. Darrell, we're gonna agree
Okay,
to disagree.
let me reiterate because you're kind of mixing it up. What I
No.
stated was that.
Okay, I'm gonna be quiet.
Let me talk. Let me get it
I'm
out.
gonna mute myself.
Now, what I told you, Stargate, and what I said on Binary's channel was that people of higher wealth and so forth, high esteem, high upper echelon people that are, in these political, whatever, their royalty, whatever, they have legacy to think about. They looking at presentation. They're looking at, as far as the royal line, and they have a image to uphold to. Marriage is not the most important thing for them. They're married. They're most wealthy people that get married. They get married to build and to maintain wealth. They're not getting married for matter of fact. Love may not even be an aspect of it. It could be, but it's not going to be the most important. It's not going to be the only thing. But when you look at lower economic people, more lower economic status, they they have a tendency to make love the primary thing or one of the most important things in order for them to commit to someone. That's what I was stating. I wasn't stating that love was the prime, just this great big thing that basically supersedes everything. Now, if I gave that mindset, I apologize for maybe presenting in a manner that was not clear to you. I apologize for that. But what I'm stating is that when you look at lower economics, that has more love has more importance. When you look as you go up to the upper middle class on up to wealthy and super wealthy, love does not is not as important. They're looking at other things that may supersede love in itself. Matter of fact, love may not even be a part of that relationship, period. That's what I'm
So
saying.
would you agree that his family set that marriage up because they thought it would be the best thing for him, but he didn't
They
think it
thought
was
it would be a best thing for the royal family.
for the royal family, right? So
Exactly.
basically, you were saying that people, when they match people up, that they do it for these
I'm here, Deidre.
reasons and not necessarily for love, though. So if Charles, I'm sorry, if he would have basically submitted to his duties for the royal family, he would have been a better husband to her, and she would have went along with it, and everything would have worked out for them. But because you saw that he wasn't the type of like being submissive to the royal family, or to people on that level, did not make her happy. We know that, like, her playing her role did not make her happy because of his inability to lead the family, or and make the royal family look good. So here we are, Darrell. It works sometimes and it doesn't work sometimes. So
No. You're using it. I'm gonna let everybody else speak. I'm gonna give
okay,
everybody
okay,
a chance.
okay, okay.
But I'm gonna touch on this. But what I'm saying is that you're using an extreme example. When I'm talking about
It's
marriage
the
and I'm talking
best
about the context
example.
of the black community, I'm talking about the average everyday person, and I'm not using extreme examples
Right.
of people that lifestyles are unrelatable. There's only there's only one British royal family. There's not too many other royal families in the world that can relate to that. I mean that to me is an unrelatable example because none of us really know the ins and outs of being in a royal family. We only know what we hear and read in tabloids and so forth. That's just not something that
But you
makes
don't
up.
understand why I brought that up, because it's like the highest platform. The marriage, like their marriage, was the marriage that was at the highest platform in the world, and it's
No, it wasn't. It
yes,
wasn't.
it was. Yes, it
It
was.
wasn't.
Okay, whose marriage could be considered being more
To
uh
who? How is that valuable to the black community?
no, listen, no, when I'm trying to who is that, who just talked? I don't know
That's
who that is.
BMT, but go ahead. Go ahead. It's BMT, but go ahead.
BMT.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so BMT. So this is my thing, is that as on a world stage, We're talking about submission that is supposed to be expected, and that's the
Hey,
highest
you charging
level.
yours?
Hmm.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So
Go ahead. Go ahead.
basically on the highest stage in the world, where submission was expected and every duties were supposed to be followed and all of that good stuff, it all backfired in the end because that dude is it Charles? Is his name Charles? Prince Charles
Yeah, Prince
was
Charles.
not a great leader for his family or for the royal family. And even though he ended up getting what he wanted, was to marry Camilla, there was even they even did a documentary, and Camilla wasn't even a virgin when he met her.
But
So,
that's not important, Stargate.
but this one, but okay, I tell you what, Darrell. There
It's
have been
not.
a lot of men in the sector, Darrell, that have made it a very valid point for wife material is to
This is
have.
why married
They're
men are here.
lying. They
This is why
lying.
I'm a married man. D. Darrell's a married man, so we can definitely answer these questions of reality right now. We
And
got
Dr.
you.
Bombay married too. And
And
everybody on
see,
here is
and
married. Every
Dr.
man in here
Bombay.
is married.
So we are black men in the community that are married that are in our household. We can tell you, listen, what other people outside of my household, listen. When I got married, that other stuff outside of my household, whatever mama and daddy wanted, that shit died because I took my wife and I cleaved to her and she cleaved to me and we left and we went elsewhere and we built anew. Okay? So understand this, that the royal families, that ain't got nothing to do with the black experience as a black man, as a black woman. I
No,
don't know
I
nothing.
spoke on them because on the world stage they had
But,
the most important marriage in the world. That's all. But I did use.
I'm just saying, but I don't want to use the royal family, which one of their biggest things was destroying the black family, as the beacon of speaking for what a black man and a black woman. You understand what I'm saying? What we go through in building, trying to rebuild the black family in today's modern age. Now, we're having this talk about submission, and it's a very toxic and dogmatic talk because you gotta understand social media has done jacked it up so much of some kind of color purple BDSM talk. I don't think a lot of women and men on social media really get it. So when men and women that are in the works of actually in the home are talking about it, the women get looked at as weak because they're following their man, and the men get looked at as as tyrannical or like they're simps as they use on social media because that they listen to the word of their wives, that's your partner. But this is why sometimes it's lost on unfertile ground.
So, what is
Now,
your position, BMT? Do you think women should submit by default or no?
here's the thing about it. You're my wife. You're my wife. I'm your leader. I will.
Okay, so you do believe that women.
You asked me a question, and I'm
Yeah, I'm
answering.
trying to
I'm
get.
answering to it. Listen, when I take my woman's hand, I owned up that. Listen, be it for better or worse, I'm going to lead you. And whatever, if I make the wrong decision, I have to own that
Mhm.
and understand this. Then yes, I will have to own that. She said, "Okay, Joe, this happened. Now, can we start rethinking about this? This is part of the process of being a man, owning and being accountable. Everything you're accountable in your household, for better or for worse. I don't know why people overskip that passage for sickness and health. I have to be there. I have to be accountable. But the thing about it is, you're my helpmate. I'm supporting you, but you're supposed to be help and uplifting and supporting me. I'm not saying you're weak as a woman, but goddamn it, you're supposed to be my helpmate. We're not competing. Like
Well,
this is
if
the
your wife wants to let you lead, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's okay. What I'm saying is if it's okay for your relationship and it works for your relationship, I'm actually commending that. What I'm saying, BMT, it doesn't work for every female. When they submit, it actually becomes a detriment to them.
okay. So you're saying that this is the thing about it, and I think the thing about it is women look at it, and because what we're hearing from this 2021 talking point, that a lot of women are saying that if I submit to a black man, I go into some type of bondage where I lose my freedom of will and choice. Is that what you're feeling? Something women are feeling like they're going to lose.
No, it's just that the fact that when, let's say there were situations where like I could lead the family into a direction where we could come up, and because it was my idea, they were like,
Okay.
well, we're gonna put that idea on hold because I'm the head of household. I need to come up with ideas. And it's like, if you're not coming out up with ideas that's going to actually propel us forward, then maybe you should leave some of the decision
Oh,
making.
That's
okay.
bad leadership.
Yeah, that's bad leadership.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Exactly.
there we go. You heard that, D? So now we're getting it. So in other words, if you as the woman say you come up with like a baking or some type of idea of how to make money or taxes or whatever it may be,
Right.
that just because it came out of your mouth as a woman, you're some of y'all, some people, when I say you, are thinking that, oh man, woman said that. No, it came out the man's mouth, so we're going to push that aside. That's bad leadership, as D. Darrell just told you. Because if it
Absolutely.
if it means to building the household, why would I shoot it down? If my woman said, "Baby, listen, let's take this tax money and flip it," I know we're going to make this money. Uh, yes, let's get at it because it's pushing our dreams forward. Why am I going to shoot her down? Why am I going to shoot her down? That's bad leadership. But I want to pass it on to another
Absolutely.
person. Amen.
Or then when you give him an idea, and then he was like, well, Rome wasn't built in a day, don't push me. So I've been in those situations too. Or
But see, Stargate, what you're not understanding, if you had a guy of true look, see what you got to understand, just because you're being submissive, part of being a leader is understanding your strengths and weaknesses, and your strengths should, and to me it sounds like he didn't understand your strengths, because if he understood your true strengths, that you're able to come up with things and have the ability to understand that, he would be looking at how you all can collaborate in making that idea that you talked about coming to fruition. Being a leader and him and you being submissive does not mean that he's the brain to come up with everything and you just sitting there waiting on him to think for both of us. That's not what submission and leadership is about. And see that, and that's my thing, is that what I don't like about these sectors and stuff is when they look at the concept of a relationship, they look at it from a position of submissiveness and exploitation. That's not that, or being domineering, and that's not what a relationship is about. If I'm in a position of being a leader, I understand my weaknesses, I understand my strengths, I understand my wife's weaknesses and our strengths. Hopefully in that, some of the things that she's good at I may not be good at, and some of the things I'm good at she's not, and we basically work together to build. Now, at the end of the day, I am the leader. My job is to be assertive and to step in to make certain decisions and so forth. But
Right.
also, we have to understand the dynamics as far as each other and how we work collectively in that. And that situation, in that example that you're giving, it sounds like he is basically trying to minimize your importance by not allowing you to intellectually
participate in
use your
decisions.
talents, and that's
Absolutely.
not leadership. That's not leadership.
And so you should not submit to a guy like that, right?
I don't think you should. I don't think you. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that other than submission, because I'm not gonna use that as the most important thing. But
Hmm.
what I'm gonna say, there seems to be a communication issue. There
Right.
seems to be a value of something as it regards revolves around the concept of how you're going to function. Now, in that relationship, I'm not going to say submissiveness should not be a part of it, but what I'm going to say that the communication and how you evolve as far as your value system should be brought up for brought more attention to that. And if you feel that that cannot be problem solved, then you'd have to look at I should not be submitting to that person. But I'm not going to say you initially come to that come with that mindset.
Right.
But I do hear what you're saying.
By default is the key word. Don't submit by default. That's
Okay.
all. Like if it works for other people, I'm gonna actually support y'all and praise y'all and commend you on your relationship actually succeeding if that works for y'all. So
But Stargate, see what you're not understanding is that in this is the thing. The probability. See what you're not looking at is that most men are not going to marry a woman if they are not submissive in some aspect. So if you think that you gonna marry a man and stay with him but not being somewhat submissive in any aspect, it's going to end in divorce, or he's not going to
but
marry you.
what about equality? Like you can be
Equality
equal.
does not exist.
Oh, okay.
It
Well,
doesn't
I guess
exist.
that's why it keeps losing, right, Darrell?
No,
I think
no,
the thing
that's not
about,
why you losing. But go
but
ahead.
you
What's
know,
up, we on lock?
you know, I, go
I,
ahead.
I take it. I take this like this here. I don't follow the tabloids. I don't follow any of that garbage because, like D. Durrell said, these are celebrities who have their own issues and their own problems. I go back to where I was raised as a young boy with both parents when my mother submitted to my father and my father submitted to my mother, and they were both equally yoked together because they were married under holy matrimony. And even though they didn't get along with each other, they both taught me the principles, the fundamentals of how to treat a woman, how to actually listen to her as an individual and not only as a black woman, but as a human being. We're not treating each other like human beings anymore. We're treating each other like animals. So I say that to say this. Both black men and black women have broken a covenant when it comes to the submission of God, because you're supposed to submit to God first, not to each other. There is no submission to a weak flesh, a weak human being. With God, you have both understanding and knowledge together to work for a cause, to build a community together. Period. Now you can watch all these people who have drug problems, abuse problems, relationship problems, sexual abuse, child abuse, all you want to. But apparently it becomes natural in this lifetime, in these dark days and ages, where the woman actually looks at that and says, "Oh, that must be me." So I'm not gonna have a marriage in this lifetime because of what I see on TV, rather than to explore and happen to. Again, communication is the key to all relationships. What are you communicating? Are you communicating how we're going to build a foundation together, or we can or how we're going to uh, fuck each other tonight? Are we going to talk about how we're going to how I got this particular company and that particular, and you got your own stuff, I got my own stuff, and together we can build a foundation together for our kids to grow? What are we talking about here? That's the definition of submission to me. Actually, submission to me means, especially in the book of Hebrews, since everybody wants to be a biblical scholar, in the book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 17 means obey your leaders and submit to them, for they are keeping
watch over your soul. So what does that mean? What does that mean to you? I'm watching. If I have the covenant of God and you have the covenant of God, whatever you feel, I feel. Whatever she feels, I feel. We're supposed to work together in harmony together. But if I'm listening to the manosphere and I'm listening to the womansphere and both of them sound like Republican and Democrats all together, then that shit gets broken up. And we're not coming together. We're dividing one another. So let's start with the real true definition of submission really means. That's all I got to say on that.
God,
Okay.
to submit to God. And if you submit to God, okay, but we also have to include people that do not, let's say the atheists, right? So if you submit to the truth, which is what is best for the relationship, that relationship is survivable if both of you follow that guideline, whether it's God, if you submit to God's teachings, or whether you submit to the ultimate truth, which is basically the best of yourselves out of each other. So yeah.
Are you submitting to what they're doing, or are you submitting to yourself and what you're doing?
No, that's the thing.
Are we worrying about the world, or we're worrying about ourselves?
No,
See,
you gotta look.
we're
I'm
so
talking about
used to.
relationship we unlock. Like if you're in a relationship, if you submit to what is best for the relationship and not yourself, because if you're trying to do what's best for yourself, that's not a relationship, right? You're trying to you're sucking.
That's
over
why
some
you have your mate there.
to
That's why
work
you make
off of
this
each other.
to work the situations out together.
But
And at the
then
end of the day, the man makes the decisions, but he may make the decision based on what you said. So if you're talking about going to Florida, we're going to go to Florida. No, we're going to go to California because California is much cheaper. Okay, then we're going to go to California then. That's my final decision. I made a decision based on what you said. That's my final answer. That's it. That's all there is to it. But then again, I may make a decision based on what I present. But we've talked about it first. See, a lot of people do not like nowadays for a woman to be in the brown table, so to speak. Me and a friend of mine were talking about that the other day. They don't like it when we're at the brown, that women are at the brown table, because certain men, today's men, do not like when women are at the table because they give out. It might show a little weakness. It might show some disclarity amongst the group of men. You're going back in Greek times. You're going back in Roman times. Live in today's moment is what I'm saying. Start anew, start fresh, and start with communicating. Communicating does not particularly mean use your hands. It means use your mouth and use your intellectual. There's a reason why God gave you a brain and a sense of thinking. Use your four senses if you're blind. Sometimes six senses. There's a reason why people are blind. There's a reason why people can't hear, and there's a reason why people can't speak. Because they don't follow the covenant of God, and they wonder why they're in the situation that they're in. And it's not necessarily they're getting mad at women, because I'm getting sick and tired of these particular men getting mad at women. Get mad at yourself. There's a reason why you act the way you act. It's because you act like a woman, and you're supposed to be acting masculine and not in your feminine ways.
Okay, I get it. What's up, Oracle? Long time no hear.
I know,
Hey,
right?
Oracle.
Hey, Miss Stargate. Hi, D. Darrell, Dr. Bombay, and Blue Pill. Thank you so much for having me up, Dee Debra. It's great to be here and impart some wisdom and encourage people in the Black community. So, this is an awesome topic. I can't get enough of it. It's just great to finally get to the meat of the matter and y'all really breaking it down and getting it to this last compound, right? So, I just wanted to come up and share what I've been through and also what I've observed over the years of not only being married, but actually being exposed to a married household in my upbringing and also other households in my family. So, with that, I wanted to share with you how we got down, just put it that way. So, without sounding too intellectual, I will give it to you in a real in rawest form. Usually, when Black I'm going to be real frank and I might hurt somebody's feelings, get on somebody's nerve. You may not agree with me, but from this perspective that I'm sharing is mine and mine alone. I'm not speaking for anybody on this panel or anybody in the chat or anybody in general. This is just my perspective. Um, I hear Stargate in that um, I have heard of those tales of men trying to lead women down the wrong path in life. They wind up being hookers, prostitutes, strung out on drugs in some cases domestic violence, abandoned, and doing ungodly things that were just totally against their moral fiber from following in behind the wrong guy. Now, with that, was I submissive? Of course. But the definition of submissiveness is different for every woman in that and to in the extent of how submissive she's willing to be in what context she's willing to be submissive in. My assessment of my husband prior to the drugs and all of that were do he give me direction? How did I find this out? Because of the dating phase. The problem with Black community is we don't even believe in dating. We go straight to the draws, point blank and period. That's just my general take. Is that as soon as there's a hi, hello, let's kick it. It's an instant. We together. Um, in the gay community, they call that suitcase lesbian or something like that, where you're instantly moving somebody in and you haven't even assessed, you haven't even taken out the time to assess whether this person's even any good for you or not. Or are you any good for them? Because you could be the fool. It ain't always got to be that person coming into your life. You as a female could be the whole fool. So it could work both ways. So I don't want to sound too biased here, but I am a female. So I'm going to give you my female point of view. Does he have any integrity? I mean, does he have any work ethics? Does he care for me? Is he taking me to the hospital? I looked at those things. Um, did he care about just doing things spontaneously? Something that I don't really necessarily have to express. Baby, yeah, we going out tonight, or we're going to eat out here, or what do you want to eat? Am I included? So these are the things that we need to know about before we jump up and commit ourselves as female or males, because commitment is a two-way street. Don't get it twisted. When we say submissive, that goes both ways. Not only am I submissive to him, but he's also submissive to me, and that's biblical. So a lot of times we don't want God in the mix. We want to take the vows, but leave God out of it. In that now I have property. So a lot of men think that way, that women are simply property. Whether they want to admit it or not, it's not a factor. It's just the evidence show in the lack of stability and the longevity of a relationship over time in the Black community. So unfortunately, you would get women that won't even make it to the altar because of these reasons. She's obsessed. She's assessed that the candidate that she's finding herself being with is of some certain mindset that don't jive with her, regardless of his economic, social, or whatever have you, even his religion. It's just a simple chemistry situation that don't happen all the time when couples get together. What may be good for another woman may not be good for me. That's not saying that he's a bad guy. That's just saying that he's not the right guy for me. And in fairy tales, you see this a lot. A lot of princesses have to kiss a lot of frogs before they kiss their prince. Unfortunately, um, the black community is notorious, in my point of view, for that concept. Why? Because uh, in the black community, men have been beaten down by systemic racism to the point to where they don't even realize it. Sometimes how I see it is their 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 treatment from the world, whether whatever race it is, mostly Caucasian, but I digress off of that. We're just talking about this situation. Um, what I'm saying is that uh, survival kicks in. So when you have a guy in a survival mode, you know, the good thing to do would be to assess: is he in survival mode? Is this guy just needing shelter, food, the basics? Because he's in his lower hierarchy of self, if that's the case. So quite naturally, he's going to want to go to quote unquote submissive female, you know, um, how can I put this without being too rude? Um, I'm just gonna say it. He wants a woman that will bow down to him because he's feeling that much. That's his perception of the world. So it's a simple case of deflection because of that definition that we had talked about just a few minutes ago. Is that everybody has their own definition of what submissive means, and to the extent to which what level of submission they're willing to fork over as a compromise in a relationship. It should be a given. It should be natural. It should be something you want to do, aspire to do, as opposed to, okay, so I got to fill him out. I got to make sure I do this, that, and thus and so to keep the house at peace. You know, because see, we're not trying to apply for a job here. Okay. I know a lot of people will beg to differ that a relationship is a job. Although it does take work to keep one together, I do not concede to the idea of ascribing relationship as job applicants in search of, the next best thing. So I'll just stop right there because I can really go on and on in depth with this. But basically, it comes down to integrity, humility, ethics, morals, empathy, all that a man should have and a woman should have in order to even get together, because not everybody's meant for a relationship. I just want you guys to know that. Just because you are a good person, you have it going on, you probably have a six-figure bank account and all that, does not qualify you as a candidate for a good mate in a relationship. And I digress. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Oracle.
Yes, thank you.
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. So anybody, Stargate, anybody, or Dr. Bumby, anybody want to comment on that?
Well, you know my situation, D, and I've been married for over 10 years. I submitted to my wife around 12 or September 18th, 2010. We've been together for 18 years. We've been together since 2005, and we had some ups. We had a lot of ups. We had a lot of downs, a lot of twists and turns, but yet we're still here. And I'm not trading that for the world. Now, I've made some mistakes, and I'm paying for them to this day. Um, but that's the thing where the priest is whoever marries you. That's why they read those vows to you. You being together for in holy matrimony through sickness and health, till death do us part. So you just don't get rid of your mate just because, you know, he or she has made some mistakes. No, you're there to see it through to the end, unless he's abusive to you physically. If he's physically abusive to you, then that's when you leave the relationship. If he's there to kill you, then that's when you leave the relationship. But other than that, you must be submissive to her, and she must be submissive to you. It's an equal playing field. But if you're going to build something together, he's supposed to build with his hands. He builds with the community. He builds a whole community with his hands. A woman builds a community by her smarts and her wits. Am I right, Dr. Bombay?
Yeah. And so I would say too, because I always like to say, well, what's the solution? Okay, so if you happen to be in the group of people who you may or may not have received your man or womanhood training, whether you did or not, let's just say you ended up in a situation where you did get married, it didn't work out, or if you never got married and things you spent 20 years trying different things, or as the almighty Oracle pointed out, oh man, I just lost the thought that quick. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. It's late. So if you spent 20 years, trying things out and making the mistakes over and over again. Oh, I know what it is. The Oracle was talking about, say, for instance, from the woman's vantage point, when she was saying you selecting a man and he just needs a place to stay. Unfortunately, it's a lot of those out there in masquerade. So if you're a woman and you happen to have met that brother that just was looking to shack up or lay up, and you might have had a couple of kids for him or something, and now you're at the point, let's say you're 40, or if you the brother, let's say you was a nice guy, but for some reason you kept getting played, or you was trying to do the right thing and things just didn't work out, or maybe you was immature and you just kept having babies here and there and all over the place, and now you crying about child support, and you part of the He-Man Women's Haters Club now, and you're now 40. All right, so what do we do? What do we do now? We're 40 years old. We weren't successful. We had a lot of bad experiences. Now we're angry because now we're mad. It's all men's fault. It's all women's fault. They connive, and every time I turn around, they want to take me up for child support. How dare you ask me to take care of my kids? Anyway, whatever your reason is, and you're at this point. Well, two things. Number one, and maybe Darrell can help me with this. You're now 40, so you're going into a different stage in life. What's funny is I have people in other parts of my social media, namely some women who are older than me, and everything out of their mouth is finding a good man, finding a good man. I'm like, sister, you're like damn near a senior citizen. You know what I'm saying? Finding a good man, like for what? You got like great grandchildren. Like, I don't think you need a good man at this point.
I want to interrupt you right there, Dr. Bombay.
Go ahead.
I'm an older woman. A woman will never, ever, ever stop wanting a man. Okay? She could be in her 90s and want a good man. And the reason why she's asserting good man is because of the fact that she keeps kissing the wrong frog. She keeps getting the wrong guy. She keep getting a guy that don't have any direction or aspire to do anything with himself, let alone her. So she's tired of that. And so she has to put that pronoun in front of that because of the fact that that's what's happening to her to even assert in that manner. So think of it in an objective way. Anytime you hear that, because I'm almost certain, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that every man wants a good woman. So I just wanted to insert on that one.
No, okay, I'm glad you did that, because you actually awakened me to thought, and you're right. You pointed out the fact that I should clarify it more so. Okay, ladies, when you're 21 years old, you're looking for a quote unquote good man, probably more likely looking for a good husband. Okay. Now, if you find a good husband when you're 21, now fast forward 25 years in the future, you're now babysitting your grandkids, spoiling them to death, giving them all kinds of candy, doing things to them you didn't do to your own kids. All right, being a good grandparent. So you had a good life. When I said, and I should have clarified, when I was talking about the sisters that are like later on in life looking for a good man, they say it in the context of not I'm looking for a good companion, more so I'm looking for a good man. And the funny thing is, I've watched a few of them in 10 years go through like a couple of dozen guys, keep trying to spin that wheel. And it's almost like they're looking to be saved from something, rather than saying, I'm looking for a good partner. I'm looking for a good companion. They're saying good man in the context of, I want the muscles, I want the dreads and the tats, and I want him to have this young boy swag and to come in here and put it down in the
That's a
bedroom.
male's perspective of a female's thought process.
I
So
understand.
basically, you're projecting right now.
No, I'm basing it off of the men that I've seen them with. They were like immature. They were the same.
That just goes back to what I
cutter.
just said, that a lot of men, don't get me wrong, but a lot of men are that way. And that's when they get fed up and start saying, you know what, I'm going to stop saying that I want a man. I'm going to say that I want a good man. They're trying to speak something into existence. I'm giving you a female's point of view. Now, it's quite interesting to hear when men talk about what they think women are thinking about. And they're so derailed and off the charts with what's really happening. Is funny. And sometimes it like how the real host females, I wish more panels would do that so they can actually hear, because this is kind of like a culture situation where if you're in Alabama and all you know is white folks, you're going to have this procession of black people regardless of how you were raised and all of that, just because of your experiences and what you've been around. If you've never been in any conversations or had any interaction with black folks, quite naturally you will have some certain assumption, right? It's the same thing here. If you don't have enough female energy to interject about females and give that perspective, then of course you're going to go off in your own cognition of where you're thinking, as opposed to what's really happening.
And in this case, and fellas, please help me out, right? And I'm going to make my original point, then I'm going to be quiet. Do you have female friends in your circle, and every time you see them, they're with like a good for nothing, do nothing, half of a man, and you're looking at them like, what are you doing? And it's like the same type of guy over and over and over again. That's what I'm talking about when I see that. I see them with these disasters of men, and I watch them make the same bad choices again and again. And every time, it starts out the same way. They're on social media. They meet a guy. They say, this is my new boo. Next thing you know, in 2 weeks, they shacking up, right? And I'm sitting there going, damn, that was a little bit fast. Then they disappear off of social media because they're in love. And then 8 months later, they pop back up with all of the man hate. And what I'm saying is, you're repeatedly making the same bad choices again. And I'm not generalizing. I'm talking about from people that I know. Now, back to my original point. And by the way, that wasn't a general statement. That was personal. Okay, so you've arrived. You're 40 years old. You either, I don't know, the manhood and womanhood training didn't stick, or you never received it. And you're at a point in your life where you're frustrated and you're angry, whether you're a man or a woman. At this point, I always say this when I used to run into people and I would listen to them talk about, all men ain't shit, all women ain't shit type of attitudes. And I would always listen to all of their past pain. The one thing I never heard any of them ever say, I went and got therapy to deal with this trauma. After all of these failures and all this depression and all this stuff, I got therapy. I got myself together. And that's why they end up staying stuck in that mode. And you'll go from 40 to 50 to 60, still wash, rinse, repeat, doing the same things over again. My advice would be, if you've reached that stage and you didn't get the manhood and womanhood training and things just didn't work out for you, instead of telling yourself you were such a good person or being mad or being angry, you really should get like probably some counseling or some help to deal with that past trauma and past pain, to reset and then go back out into the world again and say, now I've dealt with all of that. I'm not coming in with attitudes. I'm not coming in with prejudices against new people that I'm meeting, because lo and behold, 9 times out of 10, you're going to dump a lot of that emotional baggage onto the next person, and you don't want to do that. And it's not too late. Like I said, I mean, your life can go on. It can be very prosperous. As a matter of fact, I would even go as far to say, and I've said this, true adulthood starts at 40. And I'm going to keep saying it. When you're 20 years old, what in the hell do you really know about life? Nothing. You're 21. They told you was old enough to drink. They said you was grown. You don't know a damn thing. You have no life experiences. You never been married. You never raised kids. You never started a family. You never balanced a budget. You have done nothing. So for the next 20 years, you get a pass, because that's I'm learning. I'm falling down. I'm messing up. I chose the wrong person. Oh my God, I can't believe I gave him my credit card. You're doing all, and men too. I laid up with a hood rat. I had a kid. Oh, not only that, I doubled down. I got her pregnant again. What are you still doing with her? But anyway, 20 years later, you've made all the mistakes. You now have enough world experience where you can give advice to younger people. So make sure you get yourself together. Make sure you healed all of your past trauma. Seek therapy if necessary. And now you're moving into eldership. So now you can actually impart wisdom upon people and live a very prosperous life, because now, you know, you 40 and you ready. That's all I wanted to say.
All right, Stargate. Any feedback? Been kind of quiet.
Well, basically, when he was basically talking about the fact that when he sees women that comes with these no good dudes, right? And they repeat the cycle over and over again. Here's the thing. Are there enough men out here that are willing to step up to the plate? So it's just, you see a woman that has not given up on a black man, and she's allowing that black man to, I guess, raise himself to a higher position in life to where she could count on him. So she's believing in him, and she's giving him the opportunity to be with a black man, because there's a lot of black men that say, well, y'all give up on us. So it's like, if we get with a dude and we try to inspire him to be better, we can't win. But if we wait on the dude and we don't wait on the dude who has standards, if the dude doesn't, if he has standards and he doesn't want to commit, we lose there too. So it's just like this never-ending circle where females are trying to either uplift the men to be better, or they try to wait on the good, or wait to commit to the right guy who's already, already put together. But then that's the type of guy that's not willing to commit. So like, we can't win for lose.
Yeah, but the way you're saying it, you're looking at it from a defeatist attitude, as if either option that I choose, it's going to end up in failure.
No, I don't want to say that. I have to interject, Darrell, because I don't want to give this to come off as a defeatist attitude, but that's basically the options that are out there. Unless
it's more options.
No, it's more options
than just that. There's more options.
Okay, then it's like you said. Why are black women unhappy? Right? Because there are not a lot of options out there.
I basically
I beg to differ.
That's not true, Stargate.
I agree with D. Darrell is correct, Stargate. There are more than enough options. We're nearly even on availability. It's just a matter of how can I put this? It's a matter of, what do you really want or expect, and are you willing to wait until you see that expectation be realized in a person, as opposed to trying to, I'm just going to put it out there, we dance and stuff and we don't really say what it is, but I'm going to go ahead and do that because that's what I do on the Oracle. We try to chase after men, and then once we get that guy, we want to try and mold him into the person we want him to be, as opposed to the person he really is. And so we wound up disappointed at the end of the day.
Or do they misrepresent themselves? You gotta, don't negate the fact, Oracle, that there are a lot of men that are misrepresenting themselves We meet their representative, but they're faking a funk. They're not the person who they portray to be.
That goes back to what I was saying. Are we willing to wait to see that being realized in this person? And I'm not saying that that's going to actually happen. I'm just saying, are we willing to wait to see if it's going to be realized?
They wait.
And yeah, the wait is worth it, because if you find out that that is not what's going to transpire, you can exit stage left, no hard feelings, no heartstrings broken. But if we just jump head in, yeah, you can move in and we gonna make it work. Everything's gonna be all right. And on average, that's what's happening though. We're not even dating, we're not even courtship. We don't even have courtship. We just
but then when I try
instant.
But then courting
It's definitely not courtship.
Okay. But no, they're like, even when I found myself like courting this person to make sure I got to know the person for who they were, they still,
Okay, but Stargate, what
was the time frame?
What did that courtship consist of?
It was a year.
When you talked about courtship, yeah, but Stargate, you talked about relationships that lasted years.
That's what I'm saying.
The
last relationship I was in, it lasted 10 years. There was a courtship. Ooh. And so my whole point is that
that was 10 years.
But yo, Darrell, they're still out here. There are women that are out here that are still with husbands, and they allow them to cheat. They allow them to be deadbeats. They allow them to beat on them. They allow them to do a lot of things. They allow their husbands to do a lot of fuck shit because they don't want to leave a relationship and start all over again. So this is the thing, Darrell. We're coming into this
that's a self-defeating belief. That's a thinking error. That's a self-defeating.
No, I'm just saying that what's the reality. No, listen, but bless the women who find these good men. The reality. No. I said no. I'm trying to agree with you, Darrell.
Listen to what you.
I'm trying to agree with you, saying bless the women who are able to find these men, who are able to court them and vet them, and everything ends up okay. That's that's a wonderful thing, and that's great. So I'm not saying that it's not an option. I'm not saying that like there are women who actually end up in a great place.
Well, let me say this, Stargate. I will say this. When you get to be a certain age, you start realizing reality. And so I will say this. Sometimes when we are out here and we're, like you said earlier, vetting, we're not together. So we tend to draw in the same type of energy in some cases. So I have to concede to the idea that not everybody's ready, not even that they're not qualified in some cases, in very few cases, mind you. There are some people just not ready to go into a relationship and don't realize it. They want one, but they don't realize that they're not ready for one. And once you become ready for a relationship, all that it takes and entails, then there's a high probability that you will come across somebody that has the same aspirations for a relationship. And I'm only saying that because you have to look at things in an objective manner when you're talking about things in general, especially when it comes to relationship matters in the Black community, because not everything fits. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation. We have to start looking at individuals as that, individuals, and appreciating those characteristics that each individual would bring to the table. So as a woman, what are you bringing to the table to even consider yourself ready for a viable candidate, in your life?
If you go on in a relationship thinking that this isn't gonna end up well, what is he gonna be like? You have defeated the purpose, even when it starts. You just defeated the whole purpose of being with an individual. So I would say look at it as a day by day basis. Stick with the fundamentals, and if it doesn't work out in the beginning, it doesn't work out. On to the next. But there's a particular song that I used to listen to all the time. It's by Eric Benet. It's called "The Love of My Own," and it's based on It's based on looking and searching for someone who you can be equally yoked to. It says, "Take time to play around. Same game is up and down. Um, can't wait till I finally found the love of my own. Take time to play the field. Take a chance, spin the wheel till I find something real, the love of my own." You have to. It takes time, and you have to find a purpose. This is what I want to say. You find that purpose in yourself, and you find that purpose in that someone. You can build what's called a legacy also, but you have to be willing to, when you get married, and like I said, I've been married for over 10 years, you have to make that sacrifice. Both of you have to make that sacrifice. And believe me, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. You have to find something new in your relationship. And if it means not talking to each other for a couple of days, and you don't talk to each other for a couple of days, try to make things fresh, trying to make things new.
I I
That's
have
so
I
true.
have a question.
People, let me say this just for a second. I want to speak on Will, like just for a second, Bombay. Sorry about that. Just let me say this. That's so true. Over time and over the years, I have noticed that the younger the relationship is, the quicker they're ready to give up at the first sign of trouble. And that's some of the reason why we're not staying together in the first place, is because we are wimps. We don't know how to handle conflict. We don't know how to handle differences. We are unfortunately unequipped to handle those differences and conflicts, or are we even willing to even put in the extra energy or exert the concepts to even understand what it is that we're building together? So, unfortunately, a lot of people are falling by the wayside in a relationship just for that reason. In most cases, alone, is that they cannot handle conflict. So, yes.
Hmm.
Go ahead, Dr. Bombay.
No, I was gonna ask. No, Stargate had said something. You guys were talking about courting, and she said 1 year. Was the 1 year on the 10-year relationship, or was that on a different one?
Yeah, it was a 10-year relationship.
Okay. Wow. Damn. It lasted 10 years. Well, I would call that success.
But at the end of the day, though, when you confront him and you call him cheating for the second time, right? And
Oh,
then
okay.
instead of just stepping up to the stepping up to the plate and owning his shit, it just went all kind of crazy. It went south, right? He did not want to, because this female
But
offered
but
him financial assistance to leave the relationship.
Ooh.
So, so here you go.
right.
So you
So
thinking this
but
dude
but, but
is
Stargate, I have a
what?
question for you, because I know
Hmm.
we've talked about this relationship. Me and
Hmm.
you've had discussions on this
Right.
relationship, and the one question that you've never really answered this, and I answered this same
I
question
always
like
answer all
several
questions.
times.
Really.
No, you when I ask you this one question,
I
you go into all
always
this other
answer.
stuff. Okay, so my question is, why was not marriage on the table? My thing was that this relationship lasted 10 years, and also when I
Right.
talked about
He
this, I
wanted to
talked
get.
about me personally in
I told
practice.
you he
Hold on,
wanted to
let me say
legally
this,
get. I told you this, Darrell. He wanted to legally get married, but because he was in a lot of student loan debt, right? I told him he has to work on that
right?
before we actually get legally married, because I didn't want to be tied to that debt. And so his whole thing kept
Okay,
about.
so then if you didn't want to be, hold on, so if you didn't want to be tied to that debt, so that means you're making a business decision, which is marriage is a business. That to me was a point where I think you should have went another direction.
I mean, yeah, you
Because my
can.
thing is that if he was ready to get married, hold on, listen to me.
Okay,
If this
okay.
man was ready to be married, he should have financially been in a position to be married. He wasn't.
And to me, most women that I know, they're not marrying a man that's not financially in a position that's going to secure them. I'm not saying every woman values that, but most women that I know that are married or that want to be married, they want a man to be in a secure position, or they want a man to be in a better financial position. So my thing is that the minute he can't talk marriage, to be honest with you, if he's not financially there. If he's not financially there, then the onus is on you to determine whether or not, well, if he's not ready to get married, what am I doing? And if he's not financially ready to get married, what am I doing? Like we gotta
So,
really look at that.
so this is a thing. Don't a lot of people have a lot of student debt?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so my thing is
No,
that if
yeah, those that go to college, yeah, but most black people
okay,
are not in
my whole
college.
thing, but my whole thing is that if you want to be tied to that person, because then you could be legally responsible for that debt together, right? So my whole thing is that you work on that debt. Let's get that down.
Not
Maybe
necessarily, no.
I don't
Not
listen. I
Well,
necessarily.
don't listen. There are a lot of people who
you're
get
not
married.
you're only
Listen,
tied to that debt if he dies.
Exactly.
exactly. So my point is, no,
Yes,
not
but
even
hold
now.
on,
But
but wait a
listen,
minute, hold on, wait a minute. Let me say this, Stargate, because I'm gonna
okay.
say this. If it's me as a man, and this is me as a man, and I'm not speaking for all the other men. Um, if I'm going to marry a woman, I'm going to marry that woman. And I'm going to assume financial, now this is me as a man. I'm going to assume financial responsibility because that woman to me is worth more than whatever debt she's bringing. Because she brings a value to me that supersedes that. If that man, marrying him, if you don't feel the value of him is worth more than that debt, that's not the man for you.
Whatever
Because
happened to working it out
Well,
financially?
yeah, because my thing is this. Listen to me. This is why I'm stating, because now we talking
Hmm.
the financial aspects of marriage. Because my thing is this: whether he paid the debt out and got it down, he actually could have done that while you were married, or he could have did it by himself. But regardless
Thank
of
you.
that, he still could have done it. So to me, that's a nod to me. If you don't think that man was worth marrying, or even if he feels that he's not, whatever financially there, then we shouldn't even be discussing marriage. If the debt was that huge, where you felt it was going to have a negative effect on you getting a house or doing other financial things in the future, that is not the man for you because he's not financially ready to do so. And so my
Exactly.
thing is that if he's not financially ready to do so, you don't have the years to be waiting on somebody to do that. You're probably better off the time that you invested waiting on him to do something. You could have found the person you're supposed to be with that has the attributes you're looking for, and you would have gotten the outcome that you wanted. That was a
But it,
business, and my thing is, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it, I'm just throwing it out there. Now, let me know if anybody has an alternative mindset of what I'm saying. Please let me know,
I
because
I
I
do
again, we're
have
looking
not.
at
one.
time.
I
We're
I
looking at
have an
we're,
alternative
we're looking
outset.
at emotions. We're looking at
Mhm.
time, emotions. And everything else that's into it. But go ahead, Oracle. Then I'm gonna let BMT speak. Go ahead.
My alternative outset is the entirety of it all. When you step into a marriage and you're ready to commit for better or for worse, you can't have conditions. That's just what it is. You are willing to accept this person, hopefully in an engagement phase, with whatever they bring. Your love should be so great to there is no price tag, there are no conditions, there are no stipulations. Y'all have already gotten past all of what it is. You're a perfect guy for her, she's a perfect girl for you. Y'all said, you know what? We could build together. We could make this work. Y'all gonna commit to making whatever the situation is. Because I can guarantee you that just as much as somebody's bringing some baggage, you are too. whether you realize it or not. It could be emotional baggage. That man might have to put up with how you were molested when you were a kid. Not talking about you, Stargate. I'm just talking about women in general that think on these levels. They might have to put up with how your baby daddy come knocking at the door. You know, it could be a whole host of things. So it's a give and take, compromising situation when you walk into a marriage and know you cannot be at the level of on the condition of, you know. Now, if you want to sign a prenup, that's different. But if you're just going in with your heart and your soul and you're going to make this commitment to contract to this person, then there should be no commitment. So that would be my buck to that.
Hmm. I would say too, a
All
marriage
right, BMT.
contract. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't see him come back.
Oh no, it's all good and well said, Oracle. Like I said, you got to understand, everyone has pluses and negatives. When it comes towards a marriage, you got to understand it's a lifetime commitment that you're committing to. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's a marital agreement. Because you're taking on whatever pluses and minuses, for better or for worse. So when you're starting to say, well, you got college debt, well, guess what? You got emotional debt. So shit, I got to deal with your family, or I got to deal with certain upsets of your life. I don't have those issues. All I got is doggone $10,000. I got to deal with. You see, at that I can work with a $10,000, but somebody who has emotional trauma, oh, that's a whole different bag that we're going to have to deal with. That can follow us. So you got to understand that when you start playing the tit for tat, you got to understand, like, do I truly love this person? And do I truly want to work it out with this person? Now, the thing about it that kind of blew my mind was y'all were talking for 10 years. Now, most time, I'm gonna be honest, for most men that are here, we kind of already know what we want to get into by 2 years. Really, 1 to 2 years, we know if we want to marry you. Exactly. Like we know. Like that's so the 10 years. I don't know. At that point, I think I was kind of like you're playing games, or like you kind of like hot foot, cold foot, because usually you start the time is of the essence. So you kind of start figuring out like, hey, like, you know what? Are you serious? What are you building? Like, are you finished up with your 4 years? Are y'all going to doctor school? See, when you're telling me stuff like that, then I can probably understand, like, okay, you're going to school, you know what I'm saying? The doctor, he's finishing up this and that. So we're working and we're building. So then we're going to get married. So then that can understand, because y'all making a obligational agreement that, hey, I'm gonna finish up nursing, you're gonna finish up physician school. Okay, let's go for that. Now we're understanding the agreement to where y'all can be hand in hand and build a family. But if y'all saying y'all are sleeping around and doing X, Y, and Z, well, shit, you already done gave the access of the marriage. You already done started the whole damn thing. Now you're saying, well, there's another person. Well, you see, you're kind of, this is where I'm saying, where they're mixing the boyfriend girlfriend submission thing with the marital submission, and this is where it's getting convoluted, excuse me, because you're having it where people are playing marital spouse, husband and wife, as boyfriend and girlfriend, but they're not really married. But then they're saying, well, shit, right, why we need to get married, or you know what, shit, when are you gonna marry me? Well, shit, you already done moved in, you already done bear my children, X, Y, and Z. Why I need to marry you now? We already been together for goddamn 10 years. Why are you changing up stuff? Because you didn't put down, hey, 1 to 2 years was good. We ain't got time to waste. And so this is where we're hitting, where I'm sure most of the men like, wait, 10 years? Why? What stopped y'all from getting married? I'm sure every man on this panel that bleeped in my, even probably Oracle, he said, why did y'all get married? See, that's when you got to start asking the question on time is of the essence. What happened and what goes on? Not saying we're judging you, Stargate, right? But we're looking at it where if you like what you see, that is just like when they go to a store. They're not going to let you try on the shoe, walk around in the store with the shoe, and then walk out. No, 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 no. You like it, you want to take it home, take it to the register and buy it. Don't play games with it. So that's the key to this when it comes to men and women. If a man likes what he sees out of this woman and he likes what she can present, and the woman likes it, hey, I like this man and he looks like a suitable provider, guess what? Let's start talking down the business and let's see where we can meet half and half in building something. If not that, push on, move on, have a blessed day.
Wow. You know what?
That was great. Yes.
And in response, well, not just in adding to that, as far as marriages, we're going to shift off of Stargate, and as far as marriages and things go, in the beginning, my manhood, because Stargate's always on trial. My manhood training said that I could not get married or do anything with debt, you know, because coming into a marriage, of course, the biggest debt is going to be the mortgage. So during that time, of course, there were student loans, there was things lingering. So I was already in the middle of like working double time, paying everything that I had down. And I was slated to be done in about, I don't know, a year. And I was asked by the other half, I don't want to wait. I want to go in now. I want to do this now. So I said, look, okay, all right, well, here's the deal. If we're going to do this, I got to let you know up front. So I ran all the numbers, did the calculations. I said, for the next 14 months, there will be no dates. There will be no eating out. There will be no this, that, this. And I said, in 14 months, we'll be clear. We'll be debt, zero debt. And I said, if you agree to that, then we can go ahead on and sign this mortgage. We can get in it, or we can just wait and do it the right way according to the training. Well, we did it the other way, and in 14 months, it was just like, hey, look, we're going to be in gray mode, but it worked out. I mean, the debt got paid, but I just wanted to say that to say my intention was, and I've been taught by all the elders was you can't go into that marriage carrying that weight of them debts, because like 51% of marriages end in divorce. 90% of the time it's over money. And as a man, I was told, dude, don't be carrying no debts around, because you're going to be owned. You're going to be a slave. So that was the manhood training. So like I said, I don't know the situation with that brother when he had the debts that he had. And I was saying in the comments, I said, and here it is, a woman lures him away with the promise of money because he had that problem. He's like a drug addict. That'd be the same thing if he was on heroin and you're like, hey, we can't get married because you're a dope fiend. And then all of a sudden this woman say, I got some heroin over here. And then all of a sudden
that showed his character. That showed
That's
his
so
character,
true. So true.
It basically showed his character. That showed what he was all about. What he was looking for was somebody to solve his problems instead of him solving his own problems. And unfortunately, in that Stargate, he led you in that when he was really looking for an out the whole time. He was looking for a fool, to be honest with you. He was looking for a woman that was going to be able to pay his debts.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm willing to accept that, but I did not know that until after 10 years. And that's the sad thing.
Right.
So,
but the thing about it is this, Stargate.
No, I just said I wasn't picking
what happened?
I just want Stargate to know I wasn't picking at you, Stargate. You know what I'm saying? I want nobody in the chat feel like I was coming at her.
All opinions are appreciated.
Right. I just want you to know that most of the time for women, men, after 1 to 2 years, we already know this is from us men on here. This is the one. I want her. I want this.
Yeah, that's true. My husband told me we were getting married after a year.
We know
he started calling me his wife in 6 months after the courtship, and I took him to my dad. And parents make the difference, Stargate. So before you even take a guy to your parent or somebody that's an elder in your family that you look up to, like a matriarch or patriarch, you definitely want to observe him as if you were a lioness looking at a bunny rabbit in the forest and you haven't eaten in a month. Don't let him know you're doing this stuff. You're doing this for yourself. Look at him. And don't twist it into some, I'm not telling you directly, Stargate, I'm just talking to women in general.
Yeah.
Don't twist it into something that you aspire to have him be. You see what I'm saying? It's like, and I'm guilty of that. I have fallen short after the marriage because I was clueless on date life after that. I was 25 years deep with 3 years to add on that, so really 28 years altogether of one man. That's it. But when you're after the fact, and you still have the rest of your life to live, you got to get your bearings somehow. So you have to test the water. So what I'm saying to you is that when it comes to that time, you know, already have your family unit in place, because it's so important to have a backing to whatever commitment that you're about to make with a guy. So that person can see that you're not just valued to yourself, you're valued to your family. You're valued to, you're not just some, run of the mill lady without calling a person any type of name like a hood rat or any of that. You're not that person. So if you're not that person, you quite naturally want to step in an entire union with all hands on deck, you
But
know? And
but you know,
so
Oracle, when you're saying that, right? And I agree. The thing about it, why I think a lot of people, a lot of new couples are missing it. For a lot of us who run the gauntlet, a lot of men were providing and submitting our diaries of, listen, this is what we can do, this is what we can bring. Listen to what I'm saying. We were submitting our diaries of things that we would bring, of our effectiveness towards the household. So when when they asked about it, when the women said, "Well, you want us to submit?" Well, you got to understand, the man is submitting his life of things that he's going to commit. That the Darrell said, "Well, I'm going and doing X, Y, and Z for me, but I can promise you, if you stick it out with me, I promise you, this is what you're going to see." The Doctor Bombay, you know what I'm saying, Locke, you know what I'm saying, even myself, I gave 10 years. I want you to understand, I gave 10 years. I dedicated 10 years of my life. I never stepped foot in two of my homes. Like, my family lived in two of my homes. I never. That's how much time I dedicated for them to reach their dream. That was my submission to my family, but I was the foundation upon their success that they would build on. See, that's the ultimate thing a man can give. That's why a lot of men are afraid, believe it or not, why a lot of men are afraid of marriage, because they're like, hold up, I can end up losing out on 10 to 20 years of my life that I have worked hard for, trying to provide, and it could all be taken away from me. So understand, when women are like, oh my God, like, if I submit to a man, the men are also like, well, shit, if I submit and you go to court, then they could take away everything I done worked hard for and done invested into this household. So you understand, it's a double-edged guillotine for both sides. That's why I never understood why there's
that's
this thing.
terrible.
But see, it's the truth that a lot of men, that it echoes throughout the chambers, that a lot of men, when we watch men go there, and they're like, damn, grandpa gave 20 years of his life, and what did he get for it? Daddy, daddy done did X, Y, and Z, and ain't not nobody appreciated daddy enough to come, at least come help him change his diaper or make. You see what I'm saying? So when other men watch that one man who dedicated and submitted his life to the building of the Darrell household, the Bombay household, the Locke household, the B&T household, when we watch the submission that man gave to the family, so that way y'all could succeed, go to school, live, flourish, and live a prosperous life, and he get no type of treatment of love for it, that's when men say, fuck marriage. Not saying that it's anything against you, but see, that is something that how men are understanding. Well, why would I want to work with a woman? But then the women are saying, why would I want to submit under a man?
But that's anyway, though. You take your chances in life, you know.
Uh,
There are people that have been married 50 years that are going to divorce court, 60 years that are
There's
going
no
to divorce
Mm.
guarantee.
court. So there are
no,
no guarantees. Those are the chances that you take.
Right.
Anytime you take on a relationship, you have to settle up with that. You
Is
cannot
that
be
person worth
in a
taking that chance
mindset.
on? That's the question.
Exactly. And to find that out is courtship. We don't date. And unfortunately, when we skip that vital part of a union, we are on the fence all the time of, if this don't work out, what can happen to me? So rather than go through that, you stand a better chance in understanding your fate if you even at least try and learn this person to see if it's even something you want to get into in the first place. The sex could be great all at once, but that does not make a committed relationship that's going to last through years and through the test of time. You see.
So, is we were talking about submission originally,
Right.
and of course, it makes a lot of sense early on in life. In the beginning, you're meeting and you get together, you kind of set the precedent or premise for the union. Um, if you are in the later part of life, let's say 40 and beyond, and you're meeting men or thinking about marriage or meeting women, is submission even on the table, even necessary at that point? I mean, if you got grandkids, is the concept of submission
Of
even
course,
relevant?
in a relationship, you can't have two heads. One has to be a head, and one has to be a follower. One has to be at dynamic of the relationship in it, of the lesser vessel or the weaker vessel, if you want to call it that. Be biblical all you want about it. Hey, who was that Miss Sarah had a baby in her 90s. So, of course, relationships don't go away because you age. In fact, they increase. So, in that idea, you will hope that you would even more so have someone you're able to submit them to, and they're able to submit to you just because you're an older individual at that point in life. So, yes.
You know, I see it like this, Dr. Bombay, and I'm gonna be for real. When you said about when you once you threw in the age number, it goes down to companionship. Listen, I'm getting old, you getting old, bruh. Sis, listen, let's share this house. Let's go. We can either stay on wherever you want to go, bro. Listen, I just need you to make sure we get the bills paid. At this point, I need a roommate. I need a cuddle buddy. Somebody help me get through the goddamn night. Listen, don't talk to me like I'm a
Exactly. Exactly.
listen, I'm just being honest. I don't see my.
I'm laughing because you're speaking facts
Listen,
right now.
I'm just being honest. I listen. I go to the VA every other day, and I done see these older couples. It ain't about that submissive. That's cute, but now at this point, listen. I need to know who the hell is with me watching this goddamn person, and that's the thing about it for a lot of men. When they find out when they don't have a partner or a mate, shit. D-Ray, you done had that talk
That's
with a lot of
actually
them.
dangerous to be single. Not a safe.
So,
It's you know. Mm-mm.
well, I'm just saying that's the thing. That's you gotta understand. As you get older, you're gonna want a partner to travel that journey with. To damn, all right. I want to know this journey gonna be okay as I start getting older. Do I have somebody to share it with? Companionship versus, well, damn. Well, are you gonna submit and cook and clean? Listen, nigga, you listen. We can go get this stovetop stuffer and call it a night. Stop it. Stop it. I'm not your child. And I'm not gonna do all that stuff. I got
That's so
grandkids just
funny.
like you do. I'm just telling y'all how I see these people now. Like I got two elderly people who literally just rent it from me. Like they mom said their room and they shacking up friends with benefits. But that's what they are.
They're
And,
making it work. As long as they're making it work, that's all that matters.
and guess who?
We
But
take ourselves too seriously. That's the bottom line. I'm just gonna put it on the table. That's what the problem is. Is when a guy gets to a certain status or a woman gets to a certain status in life, she feels like she's all that now. She deserves the best of everything, including a man. And now she's, on the top of the hill, and that's all fine and dandy if she can find that guy. I've even heard or had somebody say to me that the average woman, in order for them to even get with a viable candidate, because there are a lack of actual viable candidates, they have to actually still win. I don't promote that, but I'm just saying that this is the era we're living in. Is people are stealing mates now.
they're stealing mates.
Yeah, they're wholeheartedly out on purpose, stealing mates. Yes.
See, Darrell, this is what I'm talking about. And Darrell, I've come to the conclusion that it's just over for me. I'm just gonna find me a good black woman and call it a day. That's it. I'm done. I'm done.
That's so funny.
I'm done with them.
Okay, hold on, Stargate. I'm glad you stated that, Stargate. You know why? I'm glad. In a way, I want you to understand the dynamic's still gonna be the same.
Oh
Mm.
no.
People are people. They're not going to
It might be
change.
worse for
You want
you.
to bet?
It might be worse.
It might be.
I can tell you, Stargate. I've been counseling lesbian couples for over 15 years,
Okay.
and the dynamics is still the same. Matter of
I hear
fact,
Yeah,
you.
the fact
I
of
can
the
even
matter
tell you
is, black folks ain't shit. You want to really know the true Stargate? Black folks ain't shit.
I'm gonna have to
I'm
give
just
me a
gonna
good
tell you
white
that
woman. I'm
because
gonna have
it's
to give
just
me
a
a good
fact.
white woman.
I'm,
but
I'm
Stargate, my
telling
Let
question
me
is
give me a
this:
good white
do you
woman.
really? But, but Stargate, let me ask you
Why
this
she
question:
call you a nigger all
do you
day?
really know what you really want though, Stargate?
I do prefer men.
yeah,
You really know what you want.
don't leave the black man,
Don't
baby
leave the
girl.
black.
Don't leave. Don't abandon them yet. Don't
Oracle
abandon.
is getting vicious out here. The women's are stealing the men's and the
Yeah.
men's
So,
and they
Deidre, I
stealing
want to
the
talk
women's.
to you about that. Do you experience that in Houston, where you're starting to see a lot of infidelity in your counseling sessions of people that are actually being taken away? There are some states that are still holding the law down that is against the law, the alienation of affection. So, what I'm
Mm.
saying to you is that a lot of people are not holding out for just happen to go to the grocery store and just go to the church house. They're actually stealing people now.
Mm. Find
Um,
me a good white woman. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna have to.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
And you're gonna deal with the same. You're gonna still with deal with the same problems.
Except the room gonna smell like
The
wet chickens.
dynamics are still the same.
Not wet chickens. Not
And
wet
and
chickens.
Now with
Mhm.
perfume and
I
bubble
mean,
bath, it
and
won't.
tampons and
Oracle
women.
got some soap for that.
but my
Thank
thing is
you.
this though. Like I'm gonna say this to you, Stargate.
Yes.
I think in listening to you, I would encourage you to go back to the drawing board and look at what I really want from a black man
Mm-hmm.
or a man. Period. Is it realistic? And also, the type of man that I want, is this type of man attracted to me?
Mm-hmm.
And am I going to give this man that I want the things that he would want from me? And
Mm.
if that and what the level of compatibility is between the man that I want and him wanting me. That's what I would encourage you. It is not
Okay.
too late for you. There are people getting married 40, 50, 67, 60, 70
Right.
years old. I mean, it ain't too late. You're not even 50 yet, so stop.
Right.
You still
I
in
don't
when was the
the
last
understand
time?
this. What is this too late stuff coming from? What does age have to do with a
yeah.
relationship? Help
No.
me understand. Did I miss that memo?
No. I'm
People,
just
okay. I'm just saying to the men too, not
No,
just
but
to
but
you,
but
baby
but
girl. This I don't understand this age shit.
but
I don't
seriously,
understand that.
but
yeah.
seriously, I would encourage you to really, really, really look at that, like, and see where you're at as far as what you really, really want, as far as what you're wanting, that ideal person, as far as them wanting you,
Mm-hmm.
and what that compatibility looks like, and
Right.
put yourself in spaces to meet that kind of person. Because I'm
Right.
gonna be honest with you, a lot of to me, I think the problem with a lot of black people that date, they don't necessarily go in the right spaces to look for the type of men they want.
Clubs,
And
strip
and the
clubs,
same thing for
stuff like
men.
that.
As people, we
Hookah
don't put
lounges.
ourselves in spaces like say for instance, there's too much of this casual stuff done in clubs and things. Like, people are not going to business workshops. They're not going to home
Exactly.
events.
Libraries,
They're not going
schools,
to places.
churches.
Yeah, they're not going to places that attract these
Leave me
type of
alone.
men. I mean, I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
advise somebody to be in the hood looking for a man. I'm just saying or a mate. That's just not
Facts.
the best place. I mean, to me, I'm like this. The type of men you want usually are working in certain types of fields. They're usually operating in certain areas. You need to be in those areas, looking cute and smiling, and attracting them to you. That's
Burger.
what
Go to Burger King. There
I'm
are
just
plenty
being
of them there.
honest with you. And you don't have to do a lot. You don't. All
Ain't
you
nothing
have to
wrong
do
with a
is
Burger
just
King
enough.
manager. Don't get it twisted.
I think no, but
You
you're
just have
giving
to do enough to get their attention, and you put yourself in those situations. Notice a lot of women, and I'm gonna say this, and I hate to say this, and I know BMT may be so shocked to be saying this. Notice how a lot of women in the I don't know if y'all watch different sectors, but if you ever watch the like the baby, what do they call it, the sugar baby
sugar baby
slash
something.
divestment community.
Okay.
They put themselves, notice when you hear those women do the content that they do, when they meet those guys, they're meeting those guys in certain settings. They're not just casually walking in the park meeting people. They put themselves in a position to be chosen.
They're hunting.
And I think, I don't agree with a lot of what they say and do, because I think that they're coming from a place of just strictly going to meet with a guy for his resources. But what they are good at doing, they're
Yep.
good at attracting those type of guys.
Hmm.
They have a knack for attracting those type of guys over and over and over again. And I think that for particularly black women, I think that's something you can learn from that, as far as putting yourself in those environments to attract those type of guys.
Right.
No, I agree. I like it only stunned me a little bit, D, because we done dealt with the sugar baby thing. Um, but
Right.
yeah, for Stargate and any other woman, you know what I'm saying? For any woman, you know, look for a man that's busy working in the field, that's working. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you gotta ask, and like, it doesn't hurt to see most people, and I'm saying most successful people, they meet in their work field. Like, hey, what are you doing? Well, I work in this field down the hall from you. Oh, word, so
The
do I.
guy I met, the guy I'm with now, I met him in school. So that
So,
is so true. You got to
so
meet them where they are and meet them in their element. I would say,
Yeah.
I would dare to say, go to hardware stores, go to check cashing places on Fridays, go to, the hangout by the bus stops when you see a good guy just, just doing his little hard head. He's taking the train to his car, and just kind of like pretend like accidentally drop something. I'm famous for that, by the way. And so,
Drop.
yeah, just drop something in front of him on purpose. Let him see that you dropped it and see if he picks it up.
Yeah, Stargate. Show
You know,
them that.
you
Show
have to
them
be
that derriere you
assertive.
got.
Yeah,
Hmm.
little cleavage, a little derriere action, a cute little
Yeah.
sideways. Don't smile directly at him. Turn your head a little bit. Kind of give him the side eye.
The side.
Don't let him know you all the way in. You don't want to look thirsty out there. So
Don't be out here thirsty.
yeah, don't be out here thirsty, but do drop something in front of him. So that would be the best way to break the ice if you're feeling a little nervous and a little jittery
Damn,
about,
where
okay,
was
this could
where was
be
all that
something.
shit back then before I met my wife?
Well, I'm old school, so that's how
I
it usually be
It's true though.
with things.
The ladies, if you listen to those ladies, man, they always find these guys, and these are not. And I'm be honest with you, these are not the most attractive. Some of them are not the most attractive women in the world. They could be cute to okay. They just know how to be in those environments, and they know how to function in those environments. And they always meet well-to-do, successful guys. They don't have problems because they're constantly in those environments.
Man,
I, I had a
I don't
question
give
for
a
the
damn
oracle.
if they're 10. I don't give a damn if they're 10 or they just 5'2s. If they got a brain that functions
Okay,
properly,
thank you.
God, if they work at 7-Eleven, if they work at Myers or Walmart, or even at some type of big ass company, God damn it, just go out there and just start the fundamentals over again.
I do want to
God
say
damn it.
something controversial though. I
I
dated
have,
a couple of guys, and I actually found this is my personal experience. So, like I said, I'm not talking for the jump. No, hey, this is me. I got treated better by guys with the blue collar. When I started going a little higher up the
Blue collar
ranks,
guys.
the blue collar guy, they treat you like queen. Well,
There's
I'm
nothing
telling
wrong.
you, for
The
me,
blue collar guy is the most overlooked guy.
that's the guy for me. Because the guy with the white collar, 9 times
Right.
out of 10, they're buttholes. They're just anal, you know. Well, from my experience, you're out to eat with them. They're real snooty. They're uptight about something. They're always talking about work. It's never no calm down, relax, detox, wind down. Let's just have a little, cocktail, enjoy each other's company. No, it's got to be, yeah, he had me overloaded with all these files. And who wants to hear that at a dinner date? You know? And it's like to the point to where, do I leave now or do I just pretend like I got a headache and I need to just go home? How am I going to get out of this? I can't bear another second. That kind of thing. So just be
leave.
prepared.
Just tell them it ain't working out.
Right? Just be prepared to a lot of bitch, you ain't shit, no way,
Stargate, you like blue collar men?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, blue.
Like
I
blue collar men,
I never dated a white collar guy. Yeah, I was
Mm.
always blue collar or.
You haven't?
You never
Really?
dated a white collar guy. Mm-mm. Yeah.
Wow.
I,
I'm shocked to hear that.
yeah, never. Because
You
I
should-
always feel like
You should
Oracle,
try
like
that
this
a few times.
snooty and uptight, right?
That was just my experience.
No,
You might have a
wait
better
a minute.
experience.
All white collar guys ain't like that.
No, they're not
there's a
like
break in
that.
something.
All right. Okay.
But some of them are. I'm just saying that not all of them are like that.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
I would
So
say I would have maybe
Give
a
'em a chance.
stereotypical
Get
view.
a white
But then,
collar
like
guy
I said, that didn't work out for me, like thinking that the blue collar guy or the regular
So-
worker, you would have. Listen, there was a guy, I saw him working he was in a grocery store. And he was the bread guy, right? I was like, look at the dude, the way he put the bread on the shelf. It was all sexy and shit. But I remember I was dating him for a little while, but then found out that he actually was working that job because he was trying to, he got caught up in some, had been in jail or whatever.
Lord.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I was like, well, so this is my approach, right? I was like, well, you working.
Criminals need love too. Wait a minute.
Exactly.
Wait, whoa. What's happening?
No, because listen, I was like,
Just check his booty every once in a great while.
And I need love too, goddamn.
I said I'm gonna support him. I'm gonna support him. Just appreciate him for where he was and hope he propelled forward. But I lost him to the streets, so.
Oh damn!
He got charged to the game.
Free laughing.
Free over that cry laughing.
I lost him to the streets.
Oh damn!
Right. Well, guys, I'm about to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. I'm at the 2:45 mark. So, any last words from anybody before we wrap up?
I'm gonna find me a good white woman. That's
no,
all.
don't do it. You gonna find you a brother. You gonna find it when you ain't least expecting.
Good luck with that, really. Yeah.
He gonna come to you when you least expect it. Oh my God.
She gonna find her a Dolly Parton.
Oh no.
Well, come on, Stargate.
Oh no.
We're gonna walk through this life together.
Any last words, Dr. Bombay?
Man, okay. All right, I guess I can wrap it up. I was gonna ask I was trying to ask Oracle something a while ago. Did I hear her say that she took her husband around to like her dad or something, like where he set him in the living room and he kind of interviews him during the courting phase? Did I hear that correct?
Yes.
Oh man, that's old school. I'm telling you, that's the most grueling hour of your life. Talking to the old
my
man.
dad's no longer with me, but if you couldn't get past my dad, I really didn't want to have nothing to do with you.
Oh,
I didn't care how I liked you. You had to pass the dad test for me.
Oh yeah. See, that's how you get it though. You got to take them to dad. Oh, and my last comment. Basically, it was a good build. It was a very good build. And Stargate, get you that white collar guy. Next time you at the gynecologist and he's wrist deep,
right on.
Just look down at him and just wink and blow him a little kiss. There you go. Let him know.
That's how
But you want
shit
that white
starts.
collar. You want that white collar on the back of your door at home. Let them know.
That's how shit starts.
Wrist deep. Just wink.
Wrist deep. I got it.
Y'all silly. Well, this definitely was fun. I will say it was fun though. I
Absolutely.
enjoyed this live stream.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I thank y'all for having me up.
Yeah,
I'm
Oracle.
gonna go ahead.
I miss you. Do miss you, Oracle.
Oracle,
I
we was
miss
like,
y'all
where's
too.
Oracle? Everybody was like, where the Oracle at?
I'm in
Decorating
summer
our house.
school and
Decorating.
Yeah, okay, somebody knows.
Yep, I'll be watching her.
Oh God. Oh yeah. So but yeah, I'm in summer school right now, and I'm prepping for the degree to get ready for they're giving us some more time, thank God, because of the pandemic. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we do have a time, good for me, bad for the situation, because it shouldn't have to be like that, right? So I'm in deep studies right now because I got accepted to graduate school, and I got to pass the degree by the first semester. So the degree is tough, it's tricky. And if you don't know about the degree, if you ever thought about going back to school, just go online. It's GRE. It's a test that Deidre, I'm sure, knows all about. So, and that's pretty much what I've been doing, that and summer school. So, yeah, my head is in the books right now. So I miss y'all guys. I love each and every one of you. Y'all mean so much to me. And
I miss you and love you.
I love you too, Blue. Friend, besties. Okay, love and joy, everybody. Peace out.
Peace out.
Get in there and do them dishes.
All right.
Submit.
F you, Bombay.
Y'all funny. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Y'all have a good night. It was fun. Peace. I'll be hollering at y'all tomorrow.
All right, then.
Good night.
Peace.